Alright, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mojo. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury this story than you.
It looks like 2024 is a year of exposition. We have another huge YouTuber who was exposed, Cody for disrespecting the age of consent, disrespecting his way. And it really started to worry me because I've only seen the advantages of how YouTube can actually change your life. It can be all pretty good. But after all these huge YouTubers being exposed in 2024 alone, it started to think, does this naturally happen once you become a huge YouTuber? Your body immediately just urges the fact that to go and tickle some children? Do I have to fight the urge as well once I get popular? Is this something natural happens? I am 100% training from now. I've already started doing push-ups to fight the urge in the coming future in case I get the urge. Does this happen because women start throwing themselves at you and you can't control yourself? Every hole is a goal. Doesn't matter age of consent or not. It's not that hard. But today's video is Cody's situation where a YouTuber called D'Angelo Wallace, Mr. Wallace, came forward and made a whole video about talking about the situation on an incident that happened 8 years ago with a certain YouTuber, Cody, which he was at the party and he disrespected the age of consent with going with another YouTuber called Tana. Mr. Wallace talked about how this conversation, these accusations have been coming up in the past couple of years, but the reason none of us ever heard about it because he's trying to bury it. His community is trying to bury the whole situation because that certain YouTuber who was 17 years old at the time, Tana, is not a likable person.
Hi guys, it's Tana Mojo. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel.
So that makes it all okay. So everyone's on Cody's side right now, even though he broke the law. Allegedly, obviously, because we cannot take a word of what that one person without any proof and start shitting on the accused person with absolutely no proof. But fortunately, a third person witness has come forward many years ago and talked about it, but that video has been buried so far that it is ancient history, and Mr. Wallace just went and tickled ancient history and brought it back to attention.
I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently. The situation has been talked about by smaller channels, it's been discussed at length on other platforms, and it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a lot and they really are doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
Now, I know I might not make a huge case in this situation because we're only at 15K, but if you really think about it, 15K is a lot of people. Also, thank you for 15K. But here he says no huge commentary channel talked about it, even though they shit on every person. But when it comes to their own colleagues or people in the same industry, they don't talk about it. If I was a huge YouTuber, me and Cody, we were besties because we were in the same niche. We had matching tattoos. We had sleepovers every weekend. I would reach out to him first personally and take his side of the story. And if I can tell if my friends lie or not, I would talk to him privately first, get his side of the story, and evaluate what this whole thing means. Doesn't matter if it's your friend and he's in the wrong and you should cover his ass by not talking about the situation, burying the whole thing, making it ancient history. No, it is your job not to call it out and call him a peasant, you donkey. No, you should talk about the situation and share your thoughts on it, especially if you're in the commentary side. You shouldn't bury the whole situation just because he's your besties and you had a couple of sleepovers and you have matching tattoos.
And from the way the situation keeps popping up more and more often, it's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana Mojo is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior that's become so entangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana Mojo. And speaking of this podcast, about a month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with?
Oh my god, no one look at me, Cody. I can say that. I was literally
I can say that.
This clip started making the rounds and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana Mojo was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mojo is accusing you of statutory, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would make this situation better, but plenty of things make it worse, like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like I was just like excited and a fan.
Now I'm gonna say this from now so you will remember in case we get big on YouTube and I have a meet and greet in the future to talk to you guys personally one-on-one. If anyone under 20 comes up to me and tells me, Koosh, I want to give you Gaga, I love you so much, I am knocking you out. I would rather be exposed as Koosh knocking out his fans than sleeping with them. Now this happens to a lot of guys. Every hole is a goal. Now if you're a normal person, it's still bad. But if you have an audience, you have a reputation online, it is worse. Your whole livelihood depends on it. Every hole is not a goal, my friend. It's not really that hard to keep your cucumba in your pants and think with your head first other than your other head. And Mr. Wallace in this video talked about how everyone's been backing up Cody over the past years because this creator is just very unlikable and everyone's been defending Cody and absolutely shitting on this other person called Tana, saying, oh, what was she wearing? It's Tana. She was obviously in the wrong. My friend, a 25-year-old with a 17-year-old, a 25-year-old is always wrong, no matter who they are. That 25-year-old person is an adult, and that 17-year-old is not an adult. So the 25-year-old has more knowledge, has more experience, that person is legal to do whatever he wants, but that other person is not even allowed to go buy a vape. And again, Mr. Wallace mentioned that Cody's community been saying, oh, it's only 17 years old, only a few months until legality. Why you guys are making a huge deal out of it? My friend, he was 25 years old. Now, if he was 18 or maximum 19 and she was 17, fine. I'll say it's absolutely normal. But if you're above the age of 21, 22 and you go with someone who's 17 or 16, that is absolutely wrong. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know how these people go with the younger person. These are the true definitions of cover the face, fuck the base. But I personally cannot see myself hanging out or having a shakalaka boom boom with a person who is even 18 or 19. What do you guys even talk about? Now, I'm going to share with you a personal story. Last year, I was 24 years old. I just got out of a 3-year relationship and I was in my rebound phase. If you want to get over someone, you get under someone. I always say this. And I met someone who was 19 years old, almost to be 20, and I was 24. I personally never went that low. Like even with the conversations I was having with her, I was like, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago I did this. It was a really like childish move. I was a kid back then. Ha 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 ha. She was like, yeah, also me 4 or 5 years ago I did this. Comparing the situation to me when I was 20, I was like, bitch, you were 14 5 years ago. You feel me? There's not much to talk about the situation. It is just a matter of cover the face, shakalaka boom boom the bass. And I'm not about that life. Well, not anymore. Now you gotta have chemistry, you gotta have a connection, you gotta have things to talk about before anything intimate happens. But I guess Cody, when he was 25 and she was 17, he was still about the cover the face and shakalaka boom boom the bass.
These recent allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making this same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Ko.
Now, the people defending Cody in this situation are also saying that she's after fame. She's making this shit out of her ass and she just wants fame and attention and to grow her YouTube channel. That's the reason she's going after Cody. Even if that is true, if these strong allegations are coming after you, give her the attention. Just clear your name, share your side of the story, and be done with it. But so far, he hasn't even responded to the allegations. Nothing. He's just trying to bury it. I'm sure that's what a non-guilty person would do.
But what lends the most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing for you, Cody, is a clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he heard that.
This is really bad. People make accusations all the time, specifically regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation that cannot be proven, corroboration by a third party goes a long way.
Now, it is true we cannot take a word of a one person, but a third person witness it takes a huge role in this situation. And the fact that you're just burying the whole situation makes you look really guilty. You should have literally, the second it came out, not today, not last week, not last month, but the second it came out a few years ago, talk about the situation and confront it, debunk it, share your side of the story. I want to hear it. Now, unfortunately for Cody, internet is a roundabout. No matter how many times you try to hide your embarrassing photos of when you were 12 doing some cringe shit, it is always going to come back up on the internet. Doesn't matter how far you bury it, it is always going to be coming back. Just like Lana Rhoades sued the corn hub for removing all the photos and videos because she's a changed person. But there's no way, even if she deletes every single video, there's still going to be those weirdos screen recording the situation and posting it on the platform.
In so many comments. But what was she wearing? It's Tana, so who cares? Well, it's Tana Mojo.
The reaction to this has been unsurprising but incredibly disappointing. Demanding proof that they know she can't provide, acting like she's only doing this to gain clout or ruin you somehow, despite the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this. Or worst of all, implying that a 17-year-old could have truly consented to any of this. But let's be clear about one thing. That is not the case. No amount of retroactive age calculations or what-if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits.
Mr. Wallace, I hate to break it to you, but there are people out there who think every hole is a goal and they will stop at nothing, even if it means putting their whole reputation on the line. They will get that goal. Now, I also want to point out, even though there's a third witness in this situation, it makes the case extremely strong. It is still all alleged. Cody, by not replying to the whole situation, doesn't make it any better. It makes it absolutely so much worse, but these things are still alleged. There's no tape of the whole situation happening. There's no evidence of the whole situation happening. It is just words of a person and a third-party witness who came forward, and I believe that is enough for Cody to come out and talk about the situation. I also want to point out something else. Just because you absolutely love this person, you watch them every single day, you're a hardcore fan, that you have their name tattooed on your butt cheeks, it doesn't matter if they do something wrong. You need to call them out. Even if you're a diehard fan of me, I know a couple of people are. If I one day fuck up, you need to call me out on this situation. Don't worry, I'm doing my push-ups to fight the urge. But if I do something one day, it doesn't matter if it's tickling children, which will never happen, by the way, I just want to make that clear. But anything else, if I disrespected a girl, if I'm like caught guilty of something, let's say for example, you should absolutely call me out and not support me anymore. That's on you. But we're not fucking angels that you guys are looking at. I love you until the day I die. No, fuck that. Hate me if I do something wrong. We're just normal people just like you. I'm sitting literally looking you in the eye, talking to you. The second I turn off this camera, I'm gonna get up, go take a big fat juicy shit, go make some food, come back, edit this video, make some shisha. Just a normal person having a normal day, okay? We're not fucking angels. If absolutely anyone does anything wrong, doesn't matter if you're a hardcore fan or not, you should call them out. And I'm pretty sure Cody's gonna come out and talk about it, because his bearing did not work. The evidence slashed his way through the graveyard, and it's making headlines. I look forward to what happens next. I'll probably make a follow-up video, because I'm pretty sure he's going to respond. And with the looks of it, it would take a true miracle to debunk the whole situation. Anyways, just wanted to talk about this. If you want to watch the whole video in deep details, D'Angelo Wallace on YouTube, he posted a 15-minute video talking about the situation. There are some other points as well about his whole personal life, about his friends as well. We're not going to talk about that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like it. If you enjoyed these yapping sessions, make sure to drop a sub. Take care of yourself. I'll see you at the next one.